Alright guys, what's going on? Back again with a video. So, Resident Evil 6, let's talk about it, okay? Let's get it done. Let's get it in. So I want to start off by saying I've beaten Leon's campaign, halfway through Chris's campaign, and I'll just go from there. I mean, I haven't played everything else, so, you know, for what it is, that's what I'm going to talk about. Okay, let me start off by saying real quick, demo, worst performance in the actual game. The actual game, it runs much better, plain and simple. It's 30 frames a second. It feels like it's going down a little bit, going back up, but it's not a big fluctuation to where you feel like your controls are fucked. So let's get to it. Control-wise, they went with a weird control scheme. Most of third-person shooter games now, the left stick is straight and strafe, back and forth and strafing, and the right stick is turning and aiming. They didn't do that this time. They went with full 3D movement with the left stick, and then the right stick is full camera. Now, I appreciate the fact what they're trying to do, let you spin the whole camera around and everything, but it just takes some getting used to, because that hasn't been the standard for third-person shooters for a while. Dead Space, honestly, I don't know why they didn't go for Dead Space controls. They're perfect for that type of game. And the other thing that's weird is now you have sensitivity on the stick. So if you barely push it, he walks. If you extend the stick all the way back, or whatever, you start running. And then there's a sprint also. So now you like haul ass. Now, the haul ass part is useless. It's only good when it's a cinematic cutscene going down and you have to make jumps and shit. And the running, it just feels like, for me, with Resident Evil, it's always been about slow, methodical, approaching things slowly. And you can run, but you have to hold the button down to get moving. It's not the default speed. Now, yes, you can walk and everything, but when you can just push the stick all the way up and you start running, it's hard to not do that. And control-wise, it's okay. It works. It does work. It takes getting used to, but it does work. Inventory system is kind of funny this time, as in you can carry a ton of shit and you can do everything on the fly really quick, but they decided to do this thing where each character has a different type of HUD, which just confuses things. I mean, Leon's has this straight across thing, and then Chris's is a big circle. When you see it, it's confusing. It works the same way control-wise, it's just confusing when you see the different HUD. And the other part of the game that I don't like at all are the one-hit cheap kills. It's fucking bullshit. I just can't stand when they do that in games. I mean, for example, there's a particular move certain enemies will do, and if you get hit by it, instant death. Instant. Now, what is the whole fucking point? I could spend, let's say I spend 20 minutes fighting an enemy, a bigger enemy, and wearing them down, and trying to figure out what to do, getting it done, and then one-hit kill. What the fuck is that? That's bullshit. That's so frustrating. It's dumb. And even when you know what's going to happen, you can still get caught up on that one-hit kill. Bad design choice. I don't like that. I don't think anyone likes that. I don't think anyone thinks that's a great mechanic out there. Anyone. It's just, there's no reason for it. Also, I noticed, like I said, I've only played the 2 campaigns so far. There'll be times where you're literally just running through areas. Nothing. There's no exploration at all. At all. There's no reason to check anything. I mean, there's nothing there. And you'll do long stretches of running just to open a door to go into a cutscene, come back out, run again, open a door. It's almost like, why was that room even there? There's no interaction at all. At all. Is there any scary parts in it? No, there isn't. I mean, Leon's campaign is trying to do what RE4 did, you know, trying to make it action-oriented, but still has that element of surprise and tension build up, but it doesn't accomplish. It doesn't. It just doesn't accomplish that. Chris's campaign is pure action. You might as well be playing a military shooter. That's what Chris's campaign is, straight up. Military shooter. You know? And they're not surprised. I mean, obviously this is the 6th game, but they're not surprised at all when they see these wacky-ass creatures doing shit you never even could imagine. They're just like, oh, it's a BOW. Like, whatever, you know? So, that's the main negativity I have with the game. To me, it's like, the only thing really truly Resident Evil about this game is the fact that it has the Resident Evil characters in the game. Other than that, there's not much about it that's Resident Evil anymore. It's a different type of game, which is fine. In that aspect, if it's a different type of game, it's just an action game, it's pretty good. It has its moments. I mean, switching weapons on the fly, and not having to worry about going into a menu while the game's still running. I mean, you just literally click left and right and switch guns, you know? And the cool thing is, they kind of force you to use different guns because you run out of ammo. So you're using your handgun, you get low on ammo, you have a bunch of ammo stocked up for the assault rifle. That runs out, and you go back to the shotgun. So I do like that. It kind of encourages you to switch weapons. So they're not really just there to be there. Also, the melee system is awesome. The melee system, the sliding mechanic, once you get used to it, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty awesome. I really, really enjoy that. Helps you save ammo. But then, some of the bigger enemies, you know, it actually doesn't benefit you to shoot them. It actually benefits you more just to go and attack them. Because you waste a lot more ammo on the bigger enemies rather if you just go and start punching them. You know what I mean? So that kind of like the balancing there is kind of off, but I do like it. If they can improve that system, it'll be awesome. I love how you can do a quick shot, run up to them, slam their head into the wall, kill them instantly, save a bunch of ammo that way. I mean, that's awesome. It really is. The healing system is much improved. You can combine herbs real quickly with shortcuts on buttons. You just tap the R trigger to dump pills in your hand. However many pills you dump in your hand, you throw in your mouth, boom, you heal that many slots of your health bar. So that's cool. Sometimes, though, in the game, there's segments where it's almost like Left 4 Dead. You're just being bum rushed by hordes of zombies and shit, and it's like, that's what it comes back to. The game's called Resident Evil. And you know, Resident Evil, the whole thing of that name, behind that name is the survival horror aspect. And this game has none of it. So I think, in my opinion, it's almost false advertisement to call this game, tell us, this is Resident Evil, but it's not really what you expect, especially for the old-time fans. I mean, new people that are just coming in, that's what it is. But for older fans, it's such a departure. I mean, it's Uncharted 3. There's a lot of quick-time events, cinematic moments, and some of the stuff is ridiculous. Jumping like 40 feet. Every time you turn around, something's exploding, and you're always getting fucked up. I mean, it's a little exaggerated in that aspect, but gameplay-wise, it is fun. It is fun. Once you get used to it, it's a fun game. Is it a 4.5? No. Is it a 9.0? No. It's more of a little bit above average because, in my opinion, the graphics look great. Especially the character models are phenomenal. Now, some of the textures, but, you know, they focus more on the character models, which is what you're focused on more, which makes sense to me. And, you know, other than that, that's what it is. So, that's the big thing. People say, oh, it's not fair to compare this to the older games. Well, why not? It's called Resident Evil. You know what I mean? It's called Resident Evil 6. Why wouldn't you compare it to 5, to 4? Why not? It's in the same series. You're gonna compare it. Oh, it should only be judged, to current action games. Well, even then, there's other action games that are better than Resident Evil 6. Miles better? No, but they are better. Dead Space. Dead Space has better gameplay mechanics as far as I'm concerned, better control. That's my opinion, but that's how I feel. So, I don't know, the big controversy over this game being garbage, it's not garbage, but it's just, you got to keep in mind that a lot of fans, old-time fans especially, are expecting Resident Evil, and they're not really getting Resident Evil. So if you can keep in mind this is what this game technically is, in short. It's Resident Evil 4-5 style Uncharted 3 mixed together. That's what it is. You have a lot of these climatic, moments of explosions and ridiculousness, and if you like that in your games, if you like being told where to go all the time and not having to think about anything, that's what this is. Now, like I said, there is fun to be had in this game. So don't just totally dismiss it, but then again, don't expect the same feeling you got when you played Resident Evil 4 for the first time. You're not going to get that. It's not here. Even though 5 wasn't my favorite, I still feel like 5 still had elements of 4 in there, and 6 pretty much it's all gone. Another thing I wanted to point out, the camera system. Okay, the camera's kind of wonky. It is, especially when now. When you're just walking around, he's a little more centered instead of all the way to the left. The character's back. So when you zoom into your gun, it zooms in huge, almost to where like you only see the gun in the side of his face. So it's a big change in the camera. Now you can move while you aim, but in this game, in my opinion, it's almost useless. It's useless. So I don't know. It's at the end of the day, if they would have just implemented Dead Space 2 controls, it would have been a much better action game. As far as I said, Resident Evil, it's such a departure. It's not what old fans are expecting. Now, some of the reviewers might be those type of fans, and then they scored it low because of that. But the game itself is not a 4.5. It's not that bad. I've played worse games. Trust me, this is not that bad. So it's one of those games that if you got nothing to play and you're curious, you were on the fence, try it. You'll probably like it. You will probably like the game. It's just, it's not going to be Resident Evil. So that's pretty much it, guys. I made this quick video here. 13 minutes or so, not really quick, but catch you guys next time. Peace out.